JaidynReiman predicts Super Smash Bros. 4. After a long delay, it's finally here. I think E3 turned out very well for Nintendo, although I was seriously disappointed in Smash Bros. For a while. But after doing the research, learning new info, my hype levels have greatly increased once more. Let me explain. You probably saw my reaction to the Mii Fighter and Palutena reveals. Yeah, I was a total dork for my happy reaction to the lack of Pac-Man, even though we got revealed later the same night. Not only that, but I had come to the conclusion that the Gematsu leak, or whatever you call it, was essentially proven at that point. But I've been thinking things over, and I don't think things are quite as they seem. First of all, let's jump in with the updated character roster. There we go. This roster now numbers 51. Instead of the previous 50, as it fits better with the listing. On the Wii U and 3DS character select screens, the screen isn't likely to change much between now and the final version. This is probably the final character select screen, or CSS as others call it. Although of note, I can't stand calling it CSS. I'm too used to CSS standing for cascading style sheets. Anyway, the CSS for Smash Bros. Appears to like be 4 rows at this point. That's for the Wii U version. As far as I'm concerned, there's too much fan service going on right now for DK to not get a new Newcomer. The Kremlings have appeared recently. You've seen how much love they've been put into these Kremling enemies. And also, based on a GameXplain interview, there are event bosses in Smash Run, and one of which is supposed to be a larger Kremling. We've seen these event bosses. We know these are only more powerful brother enemies or mini-bosses. These are not main antagonists. Yes, Kride was mentioned. Keep in mind, though, that there is a mini or fake Kride that's barely taller than Samus in Super Metroid. There's also been an eyewitness who saw what appeared to be a crush in Smash Run, although he's not fully sure on it, so don't take his word for it. This was brought up in the Kremling Cutthroat spread of Smash Bros. Smash Boards. Honestly, if there's so much Kremling love being put in this game, it's hard not to think about King K. Rool. And I hate to bring it up again, yes, I've never stopped doubting Ridley is an actual playable character. In fact, based on the fact that Ridley appears to jump, and still the fact that Ridley is rather slow, leads me to believe that he is playable. Plus, the roster order fits Ridley perfectly, as the order of this roster isn't likely to change. Now, for this list, I have removed Sami, Lip, Lloyd, Ness, and Impa. Yes, you heard that right, I removed Ness. I don't think Earthbound is going to have 2 characters in this game. I also changed my mind on Sami, even though I think that she's fit to take over Snake's lost moveset. Pac-Man and Mii have been confirmed. I replaced Lloyd with Pac-Man, and really, I'll admit, I will include Lloyd over Pac-Man due to my personal bias. I was trying to predict things logically, but I was always biased thrown somewhere. I even stated in my original video that Pac-Man was the most likely choice from Namco. I have been very vocal about this, but I don't really like Pac-Man's portrayal in this game very much. I think, as far as I'm concerned, Sakurai felt he needed to include Pac-Man. He had to force himself to include Pac-Man, even though he couldn't really think of a good moveset, so he had to draw on other characters and such for Pac-Man to actually work. Pac-Man doesn't rely on his own powers, so he has to because he just doesn't have the capabilities of doing that with his own powers to make him unique enough. So he had to draw on the powers of his enemies and other Namco properties. And this basically been proven right. Sakurai admitted in an interview with Famitsu that Mii wrote approached Sakurai about Pac-Man around Brawl, but Sakurai could only think of Pac-Man's pizza shape, an incomplete pizza shape, and just it didn't fit. The fact is, for me, towards the end of last year, I was stating left to right that the only Namco rep would be Pac-Man. Later I admitted, okay, I suppose it's possible Lloyd could get in over Pac-Man, but that's the only potential exception. I grew up playing Pac-Man like everyone else. I played the original, I played Pac-Man 2, New Adventures, and many years later I played Pac-Man World 3. Pac-Man World 2. Pac-Man World 2 is literally the only thing I can think of for a moveset of Pac-Man, which would have made him too close to Sonic. Either way, Pac-Man's here, and he's here to stay, so let's make the best of it. He's original, but I don't like how Pac-Man can't rely on his own abilities. For Mii's, on the other hand, I hate that they essentially not 1, but 3 characters. That said, I do like how they're designed. Palutena I didn't consider possible until the Palutena 3DS screenshot leak, since Characters only has 3 games, but after the leak, I started believing Palutena had really good potential to be in the game. That's even after determining the leak itself was probably a good fake. Due to Characters getting so much representation, I also add Medusa, although I'll probably be wrong about her too. Now for the Gematsu leak. This is somewhat in response to WeDude A3 Reverse's recent video talking about Gematsu, which I was quite vocal on responding to. So my thoughts have shifted back and forth several times in the past few months. I'm gonna say it right now, I think the leak is legit. I disagree with several people in saying that the Wii Fit trainer could not have been predicted, but I do admit that it's highly unlikely many people predicted her, including the leaker. There's also a chance that the leaker knew some info and made up the rest of it, but I don't believe that personally. What I think is the Gematsu leak had very outdated information, plus the information may have been secondhand information too. Leaker could have been a very low-level worker at Namco and heard some rumors from other people, or work at E3 and heard some info there. The info was accurate, but broken and scattered, and clearly the leaker didn't know everything. We know the leaker didn't know everything because he didn't know the video's name or who Pokemon X and Y was. Is this a developer playtester? Of course he knows this information. The other issue is, if this person was so willing to leak information, clearly they didn't have an important enough role, otherwise they wouldn't have bothered risking their job for this leak. Now, the Gematsu leak only has 3 characters left: Chorusman, Chrom, and Shulk. I personally am betting on that Shulk is in for sure, but not 100%. Chorusman and Chrom are where things come into question, and I've questioned Chrom since day 1. At this point, we know Rhythm Heaven has representation. However, the Chorusman only appear in 2 minigames in the entire series! I did the research, and Rhythm Heaven is far popular than people take credit for. Rhythm Heaven Fever sold almost 1 million units, Rhythm Heaven on 3DS sold almost 3 million. Of course, this is video chart, so take the grain of salt. Because of this, I can't stand having Rhythm Heaven representation. Now, whether or not Rhythm Heaven gets a playable character, that's up for question. Now, the rumor about Sakurai thinking about Cry Joe, it's just rumor, and the site came from his Joe website, so no, it's not actually legit. But Cry Joe or Marshall will both be more likely, I think, than Chorusman. Cry Joe appears in all 3 Rhythm Heaven games, Marshall, on the other hand, appears in 2, and is based on the mascot of the series. My personal thought right now is that maybe it's Rhythm Kid. The idea stems from the fact that the Rhythm Heaven girl, the girl in the box art, has been, has been requested even before the Gematsu leak. They might decide to use a character called Chorus or Rhythm Group Kid, so I can be gender neutral, since Rhythm Heaven isn't really a character-based franchise. It's just my thoughts though, and I definitely don't think Chorus as a trio will be in. I definitely don't think Chorusman as a trio would be in, or be playable, so I've listed as Marshall instead. Chrom is the other problem character, and probably the character I've been most notorious on YouTube for denying. Unlike most people, I never once doubted Ike would return, as was evident in my previous 3 videos, especially We Like Ike. The fact is that Chrom was based on the most popular Fire Emblem lords to make him likable. Naturally, that also means he's very similar to both Ike and Marth. Now he doesn't use Ike's signature attack, but Marth's signature weapon as well. People comment on Chrom potentially being in between Ike and Marth, but why do we need an in-between between Ike and Marth? What new things can Chrom bring that Ike and Marth don't bring? Can Chrom get a new moveset? Yes. Can Chrom begin lesser abilities? Potentially. But they're digging into Pac-Man territory. Pac-Man's one of his own enemies and other Namco properties and moveset. That's because he really can't do anything on his own merits. At the same time, there's an advantage to go out of way to make Pac-Man unique. He's an extremely iconic character. With Chrom, he is well known for Awakening, but not much else. And even then, who is the main character Awakening? The character with the most important role in the game? Here's a hint. It's not Chrom. The first character you see is Robin, aka the Avatar. Chrom's story basically ends halfway through the game, and the rest of the story focuses on Robin. Funny thing, I supported Robin at first because I just didn't want Chrom. Because I knew Ike would be back. Now after reading through everything everyone that Robin has talked about and stated, I now fully believe that Robin is the best choice for Fire Emblem from Awakening. As a customizable character, Robin can do anything as a tactician. Tactics are exactly what Fire Emblem's all about. I'm not replacing Chrom's spot on my predictions roster right now, because I still think it's more likely, but I'm only doubting Chrom is a shoo-in at this point. Plus, I don't want to bias this like I did with Lloyd. As for Shulk, I agree with other people in this, including Wee Dude, but I don't think Shulk is as much of a shooter as everyone believes. The fact is, as far as we've seen, Shulk isn't even in the upcoming game. I mean, if he's not going to appear again, how well could he represent that series? I don't know much about Xenoblade, but I have heard in the Shulk thread in Smash Bros. That they think they saw a different character from Xenoblade in the X trailer. Maybe this character, who apparently is supposed to live a long time, will actually chosen to represent Xenoblade instead of Shulk. It's just a theory, and don't pay too much attention to it, and keep in mind, I still think Shulk is the most likely choice. In fact, I'm actually now thinking that Shulk is the most likely new franchise rep to be added, even though I really want Golden Sun and Advanced Wars representation. Speaking of Golden Sun, I still think Isaac is in, but as far as I'm concerned, his chances drop significantly now. Also, I don't think we'll get any retro rep at all this time, unless you count Lil Mac. For Isaac, although you've seen tons of new and old assist trophies, Isaac is still kicking. Isaac is also the next best assist trophy to promote to playable after Lil Mac. I really do think we'll get a second AT promotion. I also happen to believe that Golden Sun 4 has likely started development, so now would be the best time to add a Golden Sun rep. So yeah, I still think Isaac is in, but he's more iffy now than he once was. Now as for replacing Ness with Lucas, here's what I'm thinking. The latest Gematsu leaks state that they aren't sure if Lucas or Ness will stay, but Lucas is likely to get the cut. Based on the wording, people keep assuming that it's Ness, that it's Lucas that they're referring to being cut, but it appears it actually means that Lucas is one more to stick around. If it said Lucas is likely to get cut, that would make sense, but get the cut is closer to make the cut, which means the exact opposite. Consider that Ness has been a chopping block ever since Melee, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Ness got cut this time. And Rob. Yeah, I decided to add Rob back. I'm still iffy on him. He was never all that popular, but he's got a unique moveset. So I have changed my mind. I think Rob is coming back after all. I'm still not sure about Falco though, and I doubt both Miller characters will be back either. And there you have it. That's my updated roster. This is intended to look like how the final Wii U layout will be. It is based on the Wii U demo layout, but the characters fit onto the roster based on my own guesses. Keep in mind the 3DS roster probably scroll, and it might be taller rather than wider. Parts of this roster would also look really weird if we had 47 in the roster instead of 48, instead of 51. This is mainly the first door we have to remove both King K. Rool and Ridley, which means that it would end on Link. That doesn't make any sense. That's why I think that even if it is a 47 roster, even if it's a 47 roster, I think we've at least got a full entire first row. And we've at least got King K. Rool or Ridley, but frankly I think they're both in. So let me think of this revised roster, and stay tuned for more Smash Bros, Nintendo, and general gaming updates. Also, the JaidynReiman gaming website is coming soon. Hopefully it'll be up by Monday. Until next time.